microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, it should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Thank you so much for being here. Somebody took pity on me. Somebody heard me complaining, oh, I haven't had any new YouTube subscribers all this week. I haven't seen any action at all. And some lovely person took pity on me. We're up to 580 subscribers now on YouTube. Thanks to all of you who are here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one. You'll find us on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, on all of those platforms. And thanks so much for being here. So the Attorney General is arriving for her first House testimony since she was confirmed. So this is underway right now. I'm not going to show any video from this. You can, for those of you who are interested, you'll be able to go out and find it. I just find it increasingly difficult. You watch these hearings and the Republicans speak and then the Democrats speak. And I'm just like, oh, I just can't do it. It's performative. I mean, it's all performative. And that happened yesterday. I don't have the story in front of me. I forget her name. McIvy, who went off on the acting head of ICE, Todd Lyons. He's the acting head of ICE. And she goes off on him yesterday. And I'm like, it's all performative. I mean, it's just, you watch the left and it's just crazy town. So anyway, Pam Bondi testifying today. This is from the Washington Examiner. The Attorney General's hearing comes at a contentious time as lawmakers have been pressuring the Justice Department for months to give the public more access to records related to Jeffrey Epstein. How many more records do you need? You got tens of thousands of records that are already out there. How many more do we need? I'm just a believer that I think for folks on Main Street, I just don't think that's a big issue. I think it's horrific what Jeffrey Epstein did. He's dead. And on we go. So the Trump economy doing well. The Labor Department today posted new jobs. The jobs report came out this morning. For the month of January, 130,000 jobs were added. The unemployment rate dropped to 4.3%. Economists had been expecting only 55,000 jobs. And so it was 130,000 jobs that were added. So the economy is going gangbusters. The unemployment rate also beat economists' predictions. The unemployment rate, 4.3%, slightly lower than the predicted 4.4%. So the numbers are looking really, really good for jobs. Now, I mentioned this during the program. I noticed Brian had commented on this before we actually got underway. I talked about it during the last word this morning, the final segment of the Greg Belfrage Show, and you'll be able to find that in my podcast. And I promised that I would talk about it more for those of you who tuned into the Fourth Hour today. Thank you for being here. Senator Thune saying that they were talking about the SAVE Act. And he was saying the votes just aren't there. He said that there aren't anywhere close to the votes that were needed to change the Senate's filibuster rule to allow the SAFE Act to vote on the SAFE Act. And so he dismissed the idea that Republicans might lower the threshold. In other words, nuke the filibuster, get rid of the Senate filibuster, and start going on a simple majority. And Thune says, well, there's not support for that. The Senate won't do it. Somebody needs to kick Republicans in the U.S. Senate in the ass. I mean, it is my point of view. We are not operating 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We have got to operate with what we have right now and what's going on right now. And I don't think the U.S. Senate is, I don't want to speak badly about senators because I hear a number of senators that I greatly admire. Senator Kennedy, John Kennedy of Louisiana would be an example. Somebody I greatly admire. And he is opposed to nuking the filibuster. Senator Thune. I have a lot of admiration for Senator Thune. I know some of you don't, but I do. Again, I think these guys are operating in the before times. Before the empire, right? In the before times. This is crazy. You got to do, I think if we want to see some of these change, I think a lot of these senators need to ask themselves, do they want to protect America and defend it? Because what's going on in the Democrat Party right now, what's going on with the Democrats right now, I don't know that anybody really could have foreseen how rapidly they would really embrace the far left and beyond. I mean, the craziness that the Democrats have embraced. That's their base. These are the people that we're carping about on my program and a number of others like it each and every day. They have embraced that. I think you've got to take steps to defend the United States as it is, because you know as well as I do, as soon as the Democrats are in power, they're going to nuke that filibuster and it's all over. And then everything's over. And they will go to town on implementing their agenda, and they're not going to care about the 60 vote threshold or any of that, and they're going to implement their agenda. I think you need to nuke the filibuster and then take steps to prevent the Democrats from being able to seize power in the future. That's got to be done. You just have to do that. And I think one of the ways, the SAVE Act is a part of that. So that, again, if you're unfamiliar with the SAVE Act, and I have a hard time believing you would be because I've talked about it so much, I'm talking about it virtually anytime I see something in the news regarding the SAVE Act. I'm talking about it. And because I think it's absolutely important. The SAVE Act, you require people when they go to register to vote, you require them to show proof of, identification. When they register to vote, I think you need to do the same thing every time you go to the ballot box. You should be asked to provide your identification. It just makes sense. And Americans get it. Americans totally understand it. That's why you've got 75, or excuse me, I think it's in the neighborhood of like 95% of Republicans who support it. You've got majority support getting to the point of super majority support from Democrats, independents, folks right on down the line who get this. I think folks on Main Street understand this. And so when it comes to the filibuster and being able to move some of these things forward, get it done. Do it. Get it done. I am just, Senator Rounds will be on the program tomorrow. I'm going to have to bring this up to him because why are they not understanding? I think really they are operating in you know, I don't think we are living in the times that we were even 10 years ago because the Democrats have just gotten more and more crazy. And if you want to button down the Republican, you want to make sure that the Democrats, because I've got to assume that they're going to see power again. And you see this in polls. I don't believe a lot of, we'll see what winds up happening. I like to have faith in the folks on Main Street. I want to have faith that people on Main Street, they get it. They understand it. They see it. I don't, that faith has been pretty rattled. I would have to tell you very honestly, that faith has been very rattled when you see what goes on, especially in places like Minneapolis. I mean, just hours away from Sioux Falls, where common sense really kind of prevails. I see that even in our own community in Sioux Falls, the state very much leaning right, and then you get Sioux Falls that wants to be like another. Some folks in Sioux Falls who want it to be a version of what's going on in Minneapolis. It's like, oh, I mean, I would like to think people are brighter than this. I mean, let's be able to disagree about things, but the nonsense that we see, and this is why I think you got to nuke the filibuster. You've got to do it. You got to nuke the filibuster, get these changes done, make them happen, and then put protections in place so that if the Democrats come back into power again, they're not able to do it, that they're unable to do it. Make changes so that they cannot undo the Republic, because that's what they're going to do. They are. The minute they get in, they're going to, it's going to be an expanded U.S. Supreme Court, and they're going to appoint a bunch of liberals to the court, and it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. That's the road we're on. And I think you either recognize that and you fight like hell against it, or you lay down and you say, oh, yeah, we don't have the votes and we're not going to nuke the filibuster. That is old thinking. It is old thinking. I'm 62. If I get it, I've told you this many times before. If I get it, I got to believe that everybody else gets it too. It's got to be obvious to everybody else as well. Apparently it isn't. I welcome your thoughts. For those of you watching on social media, obviously, share your thoughts with me. Share your thoughts in the comments. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, share your thoughts in the comments as to what you think regarding this. I'm appreciative of your comments, and I love to know what you're thinking as well. So please don't ever drop me an email anytime. greg.belfrage@kelo.com is my email address. That's always available to you, open to you. So drop me your thoughts anytime. I love hearing from you. Okay, a few other stories I wanted to share. You have American figure skater Amber Glenn, who is firing back at critics today following her gold medal victory at the Winter Olympics. You'll remember she was trending news. I think she was trending over the weekend, Monday morning. She had to take a break from social media because of all the hateful comments after she criticized the Trump administration. And so she says, they hate to see, she had posted some photos of herself and Alyssa Liu, I believe so. And she said, they hate to see two woke bitches winning. If woke means people who use their platforms to advocate for marginalized communities in the country that they are actively representing, then yeah, sure. So she said, and that's fine. I mean, believe what you want. Believe these Olympic athletes, they're over there representing America, and they want to use that platform. And that's what it's all about for them, I think, is being successful so that then they can use the platform to jump on their point of view. Whereas Americans just want to see athletic competition. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We talked about this week with the Super Bowl and the whole, and they have just written a big part of the country off. The NFL doesn't care, and I think a lot of professional as well as amateur athletes, they don't care. They view it as an opportunity for them to be on the soapbox, not as I'm going to go out there and perform the best that I can and bring people into the sport who love the sport. No, it's not about that. It's about their political views. It just gets tiring. So if that's what you want to do, fine. You've got the right to do that. But Amber Glenn is also talking about, she told USA Today, it's been a hard time for the LGBTQ community overall in this administration. Why? Why? Donald Trump is not out there. What is this administration doing to persecute people who are LGBTQIA or IA plus, whatever that alphabet soup is at this point? What has the Trump administration done other than enforce the law? What have they done against the LGBTQ community? I have not seen, literally, as somebody who is in the news on a daily basis, looking at what's going on. I mean, there is a lot of news that crosses my phone screen, my computer screen each and every day. And I have seen nothing coming from the Trump administration where they are derogatory of people who are LGBTQ. I mean, where does this come from? It's just, this is something beyond, just hatred of Donald Trump. It's, man, Amber Glenn, what in the world are you talking about? I just think, again, folks on Main Street, you look at this and what are, other than, oh, she's on my team and I got to support my team and I've got to be on. That's all it is. It's just mindless rabble rousing. And I, for the life of me, I just don't get it. Excuse me. Also, there are some other pieces this morning. JustTheNews.com says the FBI has substantiated some major irregularities in how votes were counted in Georgia. And this would be Fulton County, Georgia. They're looking into whether those failures were intentional efforts to violate federal election law. This is according to an affidavit that was unsealed by a federal court yesterday. So, yeah, there were some irregularities there. Now, why were those there? We don't know, but is it worth looking into? So for those who, you got the people down in Fulton County who are saying, oh, you're taking our documents, and the federal government came in and took our documents. And there's a reason why they went in there and took those documents. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it. And Fox News has a story about a sheriff in North Carolina doesn't know how many branches of government there are. For those of you, there are 3 branches, right? the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, if I can say it. 3 branches of government. And this sheriff down in North Carolina had no idea. And he also thought he operated under the judicial branch. That would, of course, be incorrect. It would be the executive branch of government that law enforcement operates under, not the judicial branch. He had no idea. Wow. That is like, we're talking junior high school stuff. I mean, I remember in civics class in junior high school, the old Edison Junior High School, I remember learning those things. So it's a little bit crazy. Also, I mentioned this guy this morning. I'm going to wrap up with this morning. That the owner of this Sammy's Mexican Grill in Arizona, You may have heard me talk about it on the air this morning. Jorge Rivas is his name. This is an Arizona Mexican restaurant, and they had a sign up in the restaurant saying that, supporting law enforcement. Free meals to law enforcement officers. I want you to hear that. Law enforcement officers. So that would be local police, local, sheriff's deputies. It would be federal agents, federal ICE officers. Law enforcement officers is a pretty damn wide umbrella, right? Law enforcement officers. So someone, of course, you had to get the reporters in there. Well, does that include ICE? Does that include ICE agents? Duh. First of all, duh. They're law enforcement officers. So, yeah. And so then everybody goes nuts. Everybody goes nuts. He starts getting all these 1-star Yelp reviews and these bogus lying reviews. And this is what the left does. They go out there, they see this, and they probably have never heard of Sammy's restaurant. They've never been there. They have no idea. But they see this story, and they got to hop on Yelp and all of these other bogus, and they start leaving these negative reviews and lying because that's who these people are. They've got no self-respect. They start lying about bad food, all kind of cockroaches, all kinds of nonsense. And he's a little bit taken aback. The national spotlight hits you like that, and you're doing something. It's the right thing, right? The national spotlight hits you, and I think a reasonable, intelligent person looks at that and appreciates it, that he's offering free meals to law enforcement and understands that that's not just free meals for ICE officers, that's free meals to law enforcement. I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. I talk about it all the time. We back the blue. You see it on the sign behind me. For those of you who are watching in wide view, we back the blue. There's a reason that's on the wall behind me. I mean that. And I act that way myself. I follow the law, strive to be supportive of law enforcement. And that's what this guy was doing. And so he said, and I love this guy. I didn't share these comments on the air this morning, so you're getting some extra here. He said, I know that many people feel that they need to have a goal. They need to have a purpose in their life. And they think that by confronting ICE agents or federal agents, that they will fill the void that they have in their heart. He said, they need to look for Jesus and for God for moral values that will make them feel better. Amen, brother. Amen to that. He is spot on. Absolutely right on. And I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. A salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are on YouTube each and every morning and interacting with each other and with me. And I appreciate all of you. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, please become one. Grateful. We're up to 580 now. I wonder whether we picked up some person took pity on me as I was 582. Okay. So picked up 3 here in the last half hour or so. Thanks to all of you. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Hope you'll come back. So until then, my friends, I'm underground and go on.